In 1987, Hasbro released the fourth series in their insanely popular Transformers toy line. After the success of the 1986 series based on the movie, Hasbro developed more new characters for both the Autobots and Decepticons, like the enormous Fortress Maximus and the identical clone brothers Cloudraker and Fastlane. And today, we'll be taking a look at Cloudraker and Fastlane here on Creed's Collection. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Creed's Collection. My name's Creed, and today we're checking out the identical Autobot clone brothers Cloudraker and Fastlane from the 1987 Transformers toy line by Hasbro. The clone brothers Cloudraker and Fastlane share an identical robot mode, but Cloudraker transforms into a plane where Fastlane turns into a dragster. Cloudraker is extremely claustrophobic and feels the sky is too small. He often flies as high as he can, but since he lacks the velocity to reach Earth orbit, he is often frustrated. He is armed with two gravity rod rifles that allow him to cause things to float away or crash into the ground. Fastlane, on the other hand, is very immature and is always looking for new thrills. He spends most of his time driving recklessly at speeds of up to 220 miles an hour, but can reach 550 miles an hour with his booster jets. He also carries two sonic boom rifles that can shatter foot-thick steel with a single blast. And now that we know a bit more about Cloudraker and Fastlane, let's take a closer look, starting with Cloudraker. Cloudraker has an outstanding jet mode in my opinion. He's got the Autobot symbol there on the nose cone along with the blue canopy. Looks really cool, and it goes up into his jet thrusters here that are on top. Kind of reminds me of Jetfire. It has a really nice profile to it, and this is actually his leg right here, and you can see the wings that pop out of the back. Cloudraker's guns are pegged into the bottom of him on jet mode, so he can fly over and do strafing runs, shooting people with anti-gravity blasts. Here on the back of the jet you can see a hole, and that's where his head hides when he's transformed into a jet. And overall, I think this is a fantastic alt mode, definitely one of my favorites. But now we're going to go ahead and transform him into a robot. The first thing you want to do is flip him over and disconnect his guns. They unpeg pretty easily. After that, you want to take his cockpit here and fold it over and in. And then you want to take the whole assembly there and push it up and in, and then his head pops out of the back. After you do that, you want to take his wings and fold them down behind his legs. Then you just take his legs and flip them down all the way. Now you're going to flip his feet up. Then you take his arms and fold them out and down. And then you want to grab his hands, which are actually inside his forearms here. So you just grab this little tab and there you go. Flip out hand number one. Flip out hand number two. Put his arms down and there you go. You've got Cloudraker in robot mode. Now we're going to take a look at Fastlane's drag racer mode. You can see his wheels right here are pretty cool looking. He's got silver rims that are actually stickers over the black plastic tires. They're not rubber anymore like they used to be. And here his guns peg into the front of the dragster, kind of like Cloudraker's. His spoiler right here looks really sweet with the Autobot symbol on it. You probably noticed that his front wheels aren't there, but if you flip him over, you see he does have a third wheel here in the middle. We're going to go ahead and take his guns off to get them out of the way. And I have to say, if you look at the prototype of Fastlane, the guns didn't go here. He actually had wheels that plugged in the front. And I also want to note that while he's described as a dragster, I've seen images where someone sits here kind of like an IndyCar racer. But now it's time to do the roll test. So we'll go ahead and put him down and roll him back. And that was pretty good. Let's try that again. Yeah, he actually rolls really well for just having the hard plastic tires. Very nice. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and transform Fastlane into robot mode. So you want to start by grabbing his spoiler and just popping it off and putting it to the side. Then you want to grab his legs and pull them all the way down till they click. Flip his feet up. Take his arms, fold them down. Now you want to go ahead and get his hands out just like you did Cloudraker's. After you get his hands out, you want to grab his head. You want to pull it all the way up. And this is pretty stiff, but there you go. Then you just turn it around, push it back down, and at this point you want to take his spoiler and you want to put it back on the back of his head upside down, and it kind of covers up his wheels. And there you go. We have transformed Fastlane into robot mode. While we take a look at the robots in 360, I figured I'd tell you the story of how I ended up getting these two toys as a child. When I was a kid, we didn't have a Toys R Us anywhere near me. The only place to get toys anywhere around was Walmart. But every once in a while, if I was lucky, we got to drive about 45 miles away, and we had a place called Children's Palace. While it wasn't Toys R Us, it certainly dwarfed the Walmart toy section. And I remember getting to go over there one day and just seeing this aisle of Transformers, and it was glorious. And I found these two guys on there, and I begged my dad to buy them for me, and he finally caved. They remain two of my favorites to this very day. I was always fascinated by the fact that they had two different vehicle modes, but transformed into identical robots. And since they're twin brothers, I always wondered if they had any sibling rivalry. Face it, Cloudraker, you know being a car is way better than being a jet. What? Are you joking? I get to fly in the sky. That is way more awesome. Whatever. You're just jealous because I live life in the fast lane. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're jealous of me because I get to take the highway to the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone? That doesn't even make sense. Planes don't drive on the highway. I'm not talking about roads. It's the highway because I'm high in the sky. Geez, even my humor's above you. You know what? I hate you. I hate you too. Geez, guys, can't we all just get along? Anyway, now we're going to take a closer look at the clones, and since they're identical on the front, we're just going to take a closer look at Cloudraker. So I'll put Fastlane to the side there, and here we go. As I've already stated, I think the robot modes on the clones is extremely awesome. Their head sculpts are great with the blue visor. I really like their shoulders, and just in general, their whole upper body looks amazing. They both have a rub sticker on their chest, and that actually shows which one is which, but we'll come back to that in a bit. He also has a rub sticker there as well as the one on the chest, and we'll come back to that one too, don't worry. Their hands have these giant peg holes, so putting their guns in is quite easy, and you can also see there's a lot of details on there, like you can see their fingers and their knuckles. It's all sculpted quite nicely. As we come down to the legs, you can see that his shins and feet are actually quite chunky, and it makes it really easy to stand the figure up. The knee guards here are also pretty cool, and the fact that his feet are bright red, it really makes him stand out. And altogether, I think the clones both have an extremely clean, excellent robot mode. And as far as the rub stickers, there's the Autobot symbol and the plane symbol on Cloudraker, and here's the Autobot symbol and the car symbol on Fastlane. As we come around to the backside of Cloudraker and Fastlane, you can see this is where they're pretty different. They hide all the little parts of their vehicle modes back here, like the wings and the cockpit on Cloudraker, and on Fastlane they hide his spoiler and his wheels. So technically they're not really identical, but they're about as close as they can be. Okay, now it's time to take a look at the articulation, and we're going to do that with Cloudraker since he actually has a little bit more articulation than Fastlane. So we're going to start off here at the feet, and those can actually point down and up. And then here at the hip, Cloudraker can kick his leg up as part of his transformation, and that's something that Fastlane can't do. Now here at the arm, of course, there's a joint that goes up and around full 360. The hands, as part of the transformation, fold in, so technically that is 1 point. He can also take his arm and flex it in right here, and that's thanks to the transformation. Now technically, Fastlane does have one more point of articulation that Cloudraker doesn't have. His head can be turned, but the spoiler gets in the way, and since you have to grab his head and pull it up to do it anyway, it's just kind of a pain in the butt, so I don't really count it. So that's it. That covers all 10 points of articulation for Cloudraker and all 8 points for Fastlane. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the accessories. These are Cloudraker's guns. They're identical, so we're just going to put one down and take a look at the other. You can see the barrel here at the top, and then it's got a sight, and it's got some pretty cool looking details on it here at the end. Of course, there is a peg right here, and that is how you put it in Cloudraker's hand. Very simple, but very effective. And here's a look at Fastlane's guns. Once again, both identical, so we'll just take a look at one. You can see there's a lot more detail on the side of his gun with all these recesses. It also has a fin here on top, which looks pretty cool. And of course, the same peg system for putting it in his hand, which, as you can see, is super easy. Just pop them right in just like that, and they hold onto the guns, no problem. And side note, the dual wielding looks awesome. You'll find the copyright information on the back of Cloudraker's legs, Takara 1987, and on the other leg, Hasbro 1987. And Fastlane has the same thing. On the back of his leg, Takara 1987, and on his other leg, Hasbro 1987. Here's a quick look at Cloudraker and Fastlane's tech specs. If you'd like to read them, pause now. And now for our He-Man size comparison. As you can see, the clones are a little bit smaller than He-Man, but they're still a really cool original idea. Outside of Tomax and Zaymont, there weren't a lot of twins in toy lines. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my toy retrospective for the Autobot Clones, Cloudraker and Fastlane from the 1987 Transformers toy line by Hasbro. Don't worry, I have more 1984, 85, and 86 Transformers to cover. I just really wanted to jump ahead and do the clones. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a thumbs up, and if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. I love reading and responding to them. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it, and it would help my channel grow. I do a retrospective on a toy or toys from my vintage collection every Wednesday. So I hope to see you next week and every week after, here on KREED'S Collection.